101, 7 The Truth, Tory Lowe Show. Look, we got breaking news. We got attorney B. Ivy Lamar in studio, fresh from a press conference to announce filing of a lawsuit against Racine Police Department following inhumane transport of hospitalized detainee. How you doing, B. Ivy Lamar?
Man, I'm good. Sorry, man. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, once again, another situation where the police is being challenged on their behavior. Mm-hmm. What's going on?
Well, Tory, this one is different. This is one of the most inhumane cases that I've represented. It brings us back to last year, July 14th to be exact. It's kind of hard to imagine now because it's still cold here, but it's a hot day. It's scorching. It's over 90 degrees. And Mr. Locke was in the custody of the Racine County Police, the Racine Police Department, while he was being hospitalized at Frederick Hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he ultimately, he suffered an accident. He was in an accident. He suffered very severe injuries, lacerations, broken bones, organ damage. I mean, the list goes on. So he was in a very fragile state at that very moment. He's now got to a point where the doctors determined that, hey, he's cleared to go to the actual jail. They discharged him. We have video at this very moment. You see Adam, hey, you got to go to jail. You got to go. He's right. Very mannerable. He's respectful. They're putting him into the paddy wagon. He's scooting himself into the paddy wagon.
Right.
One of the first things that I noticed when watching the video is that they did not order a private ambulance. Generally, if somebody is still under medical care, they should be transported via private ambulance. That didn't happen. Instead, they had them scoot onto the floor of the paddy wagon. Now, that's not the most alarming thing here. The biggest issue here is that it was an unsafe vehicle with no ventilation and no working AC. Now, again, this is a 90-plus degree day, and he's in a very small compartment inside this paddy wagon, which is also depicted on the video. And he informs the officer right away. He says, hey, it's hot in here. It's very hot. She said, okay, I'll turn the AC on, as soon as we get going. She didn't do that, and as a result of that, he suffered in these conditions for not a minute or 2 minutes, long periods of time. He's banging on the door saying, I can't breathe. He doesn't tell them this once or twice. He literally says it throughout the video, probably about at least 8-9 times. I can't breathe, and he starts peeling off parts of his clothing. Now, at this time, he only had a nightgown on. He's still in a medical gown that they provided, and he's now kind of peeling that apart. As you can see how hot he is. You can see him sweating.
Right.
At some point.
It's video.
It's video of this. And at some point.
Zach, I'll send you the file over in your email, if we can get that up. Yeah.
So at some point, he pleads for help. He tells her, I can't breathe. She finally stops the vehicle on a highway. And after stopping on the highway, ultimately, he tells her, I can't breathe. He articulates that. She understands it. And she decides to keep going. She closes the door back up, knowing that there's no ventilation. At this point, there's no dispute whatsoever that the AC is not working. And she decides, I'm going to keep him going on in this vehicle. She doesn't call for medical. She doesn't do any of these things. So now this is round 2 of this transport. And they determine that let's get into a private area because at this point, we don't want the public to see this. They even talk about a lawsuit on the video. So they know, and they had they understood that what they were doing was likely to result in claims being made based off of their conduct. But even withstanding that, they continued on, and they bring him to an apartment complex in West Dallas on the side of the road, and they left him on the side of the road for almost 3 hours on the back of a paddy wagon, still complaining that, he's dehydrated at this point. He has heat exhaustion. He also tells them he's having problems breathing. He has chest pain. All of these things.
But there's a law that says you have to, if somebody asks for medical help, they have to
absolutely
act on that.
Absolutely. If you take the control of a person and you're in their custody and that person has obviously a serious medical condition. It was very known that he had all these issues.
Right.
You brought him to the paddy wagon. He didn't walk there. You wheeled him out in a wheelchair there. You know that he has these issues. And despite that, they essentially, we believe, were indifferent to his medical needs and allowed him to suffer. The video is shocking. I mean, my office, we probably get about 40, 50, 60 calls a week on civil rights cases, and unfortunately, we're not able to take them all. But Mr. Locke, when he told me that everything was on video, I sat there and watched it, 3 hours worth. I couldn't believe it. You know, sometimes people exaggerate things, and that's what I thought. It shocked the conscience when I watched this video. I'm literally seeing medical personnel finally get there, and they're saying, we need to take him to the hospital. The Racine County Police Department says, no, what we need is for him to go to the jail. That's what we need. So they're, essentially exerting their authority over the medical personnel who wanted to take him to the hospital. Wow. So this is a case that can't be ignored. This is a case that shocks the conscience.
Well, if y'all watching as we broadcast live on YouTube and social media, we have the video of what took place with Adam Locke. He's, and I must warn you, this is, aggressive, very aggressive. But if you want to see it as we broadcast live, it's on YouTube. Why do you feel that they mistreated him and ignored his rights, B. Ivy Lamar?
Well, first of all,
from looking at the video,
there are biases that exist in people generally. And it also is no exception to the police department and those officers. These officers simply thought, oh, well, he was being hospitalized. You got nurses coming in. Oh, he just doesn't want to go to jail. That's what these young officers assumed. And that is the reality of why I think they were just indifferent. But, again, I could speculate all day. But what we do know, and again, this is not he said, she said. Men lie, women lie. Video does not. And we have 3 hours worth. And I just couldn't believe what I saw. I could not believe what their reactions and their responses were. But what we believe, and when we filed this civil rights lawsuit this morning, we believe this was a deliberate indifference to a serious medical need. We believe that Monell liability exists, that there was problems in the training, the protocols, in transporting individuals. We also believe that they were negligent. I mean, we believe this is outrageous behavior.
Why do we have to address, because many times a lot of people say, okay, another civil lawsuit. No. Why do we have to make sure that we have checks and balances when it comes to being in police custody? This is just a huge thing that goes on all the time. A lot of people feel that they've been mishandled, but then you got a situation where Mr. Locke is at one point with no clothes on.
Right.
And they have him out there sitting there, not paying attention or not listening to his call or his needs. He's in the wagon, sweating, asking for help. Why did they let it go so long? And why is it important that we address these situations when it comes to inhumane treatment?
Well, I think that what we typically see and what I often see in civil rights cases is we normally see excessive force. We normally see a police shooting that we believe is unjustified. We normally see an assault of some sort, kicking, punching, whatever. This case is different. It still is under the guise of civil rights. It still is a constitutional right to have medical treatment and so forth. So this one is different. You see Mr. Locke suffering. I've never seen, you see a grown man crying for help. At some point you see in the video, he lose consciousness in the video. So, yeah, this is not like a George Floyd situation where you got his feet on his, his foot on his neck, where you were depriving him of oxygen in that way.
Right.
But you're still, through your indifference, denying him of medical treatment, which could have cost him his life. We can't let that go unchecked.
And we've seen incidents before in the past.
Absolutely.
Where people have screamed for help for medical, and then they were ignored, and then they passed away on the scene. Thank God he's alive right now.
Absolutely. And that's why we're here. And that's what this lawsuit is so important for. It's still cold outside now, but as we're going into spring and soon we'll be in a summer with scorching temperatures, I think it's important that we now show that this case is important because we got to address biases that exist in the police departments. You can't have another Adam Locke because he might not make it. Thankfully, Mr. Locke was finally, after 3 hours, able to get into medical attention. Even though he had to stay hospitalized for 5 days, they were able to revive him and get him to the place he's at today, which he's still not out the woods now. He still has psych therapy that he goes through. He's still on psych meds. He still has all these aggravations to his existing issues. Even the pending court case, the judge determined that his medical condition was as such that he was not in. It would not be proper for him to be under the custody of the Racine County Jail based off his existing medical condition today.
So they had the history.
Absolutely.
So they ignored the history.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's the snapshot.
Wow.
You know, Tory, I gotta run. I got a court appearance I gotta make here in a second.
Okay.
But I again, thank you for covering this. You know, Adam Locke is here. The family is here to complete this conversation. It's very important. And as always, you know, I'm here. You know, if you need me, you know, this is a case that is very important for justice, for the movement, for the culture. And, hey, it just shows that we got more work to do.
Well, look, I appreciate you for coming through with this breaking news press conference today. Civil rights lawsuit against Racine Police. Adam Locke is here with his family. When we come back, we'll have a conversation with Mr. Locke, Truth Nation. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
Milwaukee.
I got a show today.
101.7 The Truth, Tory Lowe Show. DJ Brother Z on the ones and twos. We got breaking news. Lawsuit filed against Racine Police Department following inhumane transport of hospitalized detainee. We got Adam Locke in studio. Lawsuit filed today, press conference today. If y'all watching as we broadcast live, we got the video. We got the video of what took place. If y'all want to watch, I must warn you, it's tough. It's tough to watch, but this is what happened. It's all on video. It's all there.
It's all there.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling okay. Just, you know, hanging in there, trying to stay strong, you know.
The lawsuit says that that the officers knowingly subjected you to pain and hurt, and when you say you was in the back and you was sweating, how hot did it get? What was going on when they put you in the back of the vehicle?
When they placed me in the back of the paddy wagon, it was one of the hottest days of the summer, and the paddy wagon was out there for a few hours before they even placed me, you know, into that. So the temperature had rose. As soon as they placed me on the floor of the paddy wagon, I instantly, you know, questioned the heat. Was it air conditioned? It's so hot back here. Can you turn the air on or something? And she was like, as soon as we get going, I could turn the air on. But that never happened.
Was it even air?
The air condition didn't work in the unit.
How hot do you think it got back there?
Over 100 degrees, maybe about 120 something degrees.
Oh wow. And when you reach to knock on the walls to say, hey, look, I need help, what was the reaction?
Well, I'm trying to get the air condition going, you know, and she kept going. So at some point, I lost consciousness back there in the back of the paddy wagon, and when I came to, I continued to beat on the back of the paddy wagon, screaming and telling her that I couldn't breathe and I wasn't going to make it. I really thought that if I would have kept on into that ride, maybe 5 more minutes or so, I probably would have passed away.
Now, you on this video, you don't have no clothes on.
Oh, yeah. It was times out there where I was completely nude.
Oh, wow. And they didn't hurry up and had no sense of urgency. How long were you out there total? Without any medical attention?
About 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yeah, about 3 hours. The West Dallas Fire Department had came, paramedics, and the police was out there, and they was telling them, like, they wanted to give me fentanyl because my medical fentanyl because my medical condition was so bad and was deteriorating, but the police wouldn't let them give me any medical attention. They was like, we want to get him to the jail.
Hold on, you got a history.
Yeah.
And they can see many times when you have a history, they can see it in the computer.
Absolutely.
So did they even check to see the history and to see the legitimacy?
Well, one of the officers that was present was there overnight with me and had already previously been at the hospital and seen me going through the medical transitions with surgeries and medications and everything. So he was actually there. So he was aware of a lot of different things. They just showed a totally disregard. Their whole objective was to get me to the jail.
Oh, and not have the medical interfere.
Right, because the police department, the police officers that was out there told medical they couldn't take me.
What?
Yes.
They told the medical they couldn't.
They said, we want to get you to the jail. And it's all recorded. All of this is on video.
They say it's 3 hours of video.
Yes.
We playing some of the video as we broadcast live on YouTube and social media. But this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
Yes.
This is unbelievable. This treatment that they knowingly, they had the information there. They wasn't even trying to hear what you were saying.
And not at all.
Is there at any point did you feel like you were going to die?
Yes. It actually, on the video, you could hear me say, am I going to die? Because I had one of my lungs had collapsed. I had 5 broken ribs. I had a laceration grade 4 to my spleen, to my kidney. I had liver damage.
And this was the condition you was in.
Yes.
When they was transporting.
Yes. I had maybe 22 stitches in my knee, a rod. I have rods and staples, and I have rods and stuff in my groin area. I had like 60 staples going up my back buttock, a broke arm. I had like 12 stitches in my arm, plus a rod that was in my arm. So I had all of this stuff going on, and I was 5 days off of the surgery table.
And they had you out there suffering.
And they had me out there naked like that.
Oh, wow. Well, you're in good hands with attorney B. Ivy Lamar. Once again, one of our natives here in Milwaukee who fights for human and civil rights for those that can't speak for themselves. It seems like they didn't even treat you like you was even a human. Like you were not human to them.
Oh, yeah, and you could see it on the video. For those who are watching the video, you could see the total disregard. You could see my conditions deteriorating. You could see snot coming out my nose. You could see me sweating profusely. You could see the sweat dripping from my face. If I would have stayed out there a little longer, I would have passed away. When I was rushed back to the hospital, I stayed for 5 more days. They were giving me IVs. I had a heat stroke. All type of internal damages. All of my injuries were exacerbated. Both of my feet were swelled up. It felt like I had a pillow inside of my chest.
Oh, wow. Mr. Locke, anything that you want the community to know right now?
Yes, absolutely. I think that everybody have to come together to stop these type of events from happening. People have to be accountable for the things that they do and don't do. This could have easily been avoided. I could have easily been transported in an ambulance from the hospital to the jail. These officers and the people responsible, they have to be accountable. These type of inhumane conditions and treatments are not only unconstitutional, but they are completely unacceptable.
Well, look, you got our prayers for speedy recovery.
Thank you.
And thank God that you're still alive,
Amen.
Mr. Locke. Because this could have ended in the worst way.
Oh, yes.
Well, look, we're going to follow your case and the developments. Once again, there was a press conference today. Attorney B. Ivy Lamar files a lawsuit against Racine Police Department following inhumane transport hospitalization of Mr. Locke. Mr. Locke, I thank y'all for coming on the show today.
And thank you for having me.
And this won't be the last time because I know we got other things that are going to happen. This is a journey.
Absolutely.
And you have our support right here at Truth Nation. We thank you for coming in and telling your story.
And thank you so much, brother, for having me.
Wow, Truth Nation. I'll tell you this. When we hear things like this, today it's Mr. Locke. Tomorrow it's you. This is why we got to stand up. This is why we got to fight. This is why we can't take these things lightly, and we won't.
Absolutely.
Hey, look, when we come back, we'll have more conversation, Truth Nation. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.